Oh.
I was expecting an actual Shane.
An actual Shane?
Shane actually, if you like.
Indeed. But, well, do you think he's lost his connection to the delirium?
It must be. I mean, maybe there's some answers on here. Can you say anything?
Nope. Definitely nothing.
It does appear to just be a plain piece of white paper.
Yeah.
What do you think it means?
I don't know. But I'll tell you what. It's definitely not a protest.
Definitely not. Good afternoon if you are watching this when it first goes out. If you're not, then hello to whatever time of day it is that you are.
Indeed.
That
what
seems,
he said.
It seems concise, doesn't it?
Yes.
Hello, welcome back to Maybe Movies. My name is Max.
And I am Sam.
And we are into our second episode of the month and Act 1 of our new vision of Hellraiser that sees the Peltzer family from Gremlins taking up residence in the old family homestead of Hillcrest is the name of the house.
Hillcrest. Oh,
yes.
That's a name, right.
Yeah, I noticed when I was watching it earlier. It's above the door.
Oh, okay.
Before we do that, again, just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has come and discovered the channel recently. On double checking, I can see that we've gone up 20 subscribers in the past month.
Good Lord.
Yes, so thank you all. You are wonderful, wonderful people.
Thank you.
Before we jump any further, very quickly, as it is build up to Christmas and everybody's got lots of money to spend, now might be a good time to do a quick sponsorship thing. And the sponsor for this video is us. Maybe Movies is part of the Zadrum channel, which is part of Zadrum, a small business that I started in 2016 to bring the works of 3 generations of writer to a new reading audience. This was kind of like a side project which has taken off and taken on a life of its own, which is fantastic. So at the moment we have 3 books out, one by each of our authors. The first of which, and the one that really kind of started the whole thing off, is Verboten, which was written by my grandfather under his pseudonym Sidney Esmond and was published in 1940. Like a lot of my grandfather's early books, they were written during and set against the backdrop of World War II. And this one is about Harry Deller, an English schoolteacher who, on an exchange programme in Germany, finds himself having to cope with allegations of espionage by the local Gestapo at the start of the Second World War. We then have The Refugees from Daffodil Cottage, which was the only work published by my father during his lifetime, and it's a children's book, kind of pitched perfectly for children of 7 or 8 years over. It has similarities to things like Watership Down, with a little bit of The Animals of Farthing Wood, and I think one reviewer said that it had just a smattering of Animal Farm in there as well. And then we have Book of Squalor, which is my own entry into our list of titles at the moment. It's a collection of short horror fiction comprising some prose, some poetry, and even a short screenplay as well. All 3 of the books are available as paperback or as ebooks, either from our Zadrum website, a link in the description below, or also from Amazon as well. But of course, if you are going to buy, then please do come and buy from our shop, because that way you'll know that we're going to get more of the money than Amazon will, and maybe we can just stop Jeff Bezos destroying Lord of the Rings any more than he already has. Maybe. Who knows? Anyway, thank you for listening, and now back to the show. And that was it.
How nice.
I know. It was for us, because we got to do nothing for a few minutes. Okay, so yes, before we look at Act 1 of Hellins, first things first, we have the Chalice of Justice.
The Chalice of Justice. I like it.
There you go, sir.
There you
Cheers,
go.
sir.
Cheers.
And to everyone at home.
Season's greetings.
Oh, we'll get straight in with more delaying tactics because we'll have a look at Shoutout first of all.
Oh, of course, yes.
So Shoutout for today is for another not so recent but friend and supporter, and it's a channel I'm not getting back to as much as I should at the moment, so I do apologise to Laurie from Channel Hex.
Okay.
Channel Hex is the channel for a film company called Hex Studios. So they do a lot of horror-related content. He does interviews with actors and filmmakers.
Okay.
But it's run by a guy called Laurie Brewster, and I think his brother and his dad and things are involved. And they do lots of weird and wonderful stuff. Some kind of quite obscure stuff. One of the ones I was watching recently was they'd somehow managed to get their hands on an old Amstrad.
Oh my god, right, okay.
Which was awesome because that was the first computer that we had at home.
Oh, right, they had Amstrads at school, but we didn't have them. I didn't know anyone who had one at home.
Yeah, that was our first one. And they were playing my favourite game when I was a kid. They were playing Oh Mummy. So,
Nice.
but also most recently, what I noticed on there, one of his collaborators, Megan Tremethick.
Mm-hmm.
She's a horror filmmaker, horror writer, and actor. But she was launching a campaign to crowdfund a short film that she wants to do based on The Haunter in the Dark by Lovecraft.
Oh, nice. Oh, well, good luck with that.
Yeah. So again, there'll be links to all of those down below.
Indeed. Yes.
You ready?
I don't know if I am. I've started to have. I mean, I know I am the naysayer. I understand this fact. I've had to recognise it over the last few months. But there are problems to getting the parts moving with Hellins.
There are. I mean, the first thing that I wrote down is what tone are we looking for with this film? Are we continuing it as it was, as Hellraiser is, as a straight-up horror film? Are we adding for an element of lightheartedness because of our new family that we're putting into it?
Well, it seems hard not to, doesn't it? I mean, especially with Rand. He's practically a comedy machine.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's not like Clive Barker is opposed to comedy in his work.
I mean, I thought rather than going full-on comedy horror, again, just a certain lightheartedness to the tone.
Comedic moments rather than a theme.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think I could get behind that. Can you get behind that, folks? I think I can.
Yeah. What about then the other one? I think similar to how we did with our original one with Ghostbusters. We haven't done Ghostbusters.
Not yet.
No. With Lost Boys and Karate Kid, same as we had to do with Nanook. I think with Barney we're going to have to leave him in Kingston Falls.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he's vital to the plot.
He only really does one thing in that, doesn't he? Because he gets strapped up. Obviously,
yeah,
Stripe ties him
he gets
up.
bullied.
Yeah.
And apart from that, he's mostly out of the movie until the very last scenes.
My other thought was that if they've come from the States, they wouldn't be able to bring him.
Quarantine was the thing I was thinking.
The only other way is that they find him in the house when they get there.
Yeah, but like, what are we bringing in when we do that? If we're bringing in a dog, because at this point we're because Hollywooding it.
Yeah.
Why are we doing it?
Yeah, exactly. It's going to cause more problems then.
I think it will. We'll end up just having to kill the dog.
No! Don't kill the dogs.
I think we will.
We would have to, yeah.
You know.
He's going to get in the way. And it's blood.
It's blood, yeah.
So are we having, same as Kirsty, that Billy arrives a few days later?
No, we don't have to do that, because I don't know if you remember, but when they turn up at the house, Kirsty calls and she's already got a room. She's there, she's just not at the house.
Right. Oh, of course she does, yeah, of course, because the phone goes, yes. Okay.
So I'm thinking have Billy from the beginning.
Have Billy from the beginning, no problem at all. Do we want to have him similar kind of thing that he goes off and finds his own place? Or are we going very much with the family setup?
Well, this is the thing. They're not planning on living in the house, are they? They're there to sort the estate.
Exactly.
So I think he'll just stay in the house with them. It would be a pointless expense for him to get a room of his own. Okay,
sounds good to me. I thought, just to make it a bit more removed, because I know Larry in there just refers to the old lady. If we say that the person who owned the house was a great aunt or something, so it's a little bit more of a family, it's a little bit distantly removed.
Yes.
And obviously the other big problem that we've got is that we lose the connection between, in this case, Lynn and Frank.
Yes. That's one of the big moving parts of the movie that we've got a problem with.
I thought we could put Frank into the picture as opposed to being Rand's brother, that he was a lodger lodging with his great aunt.
I would have said she was the great aunt's son.
Oh, okay. Oh, even better. It's even easier. So so there's still just a not as close family connection.
No, yeah, exactly. You know, he's the cousin that they always heard stories about, but never really met.
Yeah. So that works. That we will say that it's her son.
Yes.
So
you know, obviously her estranged son. You know, that's why they're the executors and not him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they've tried to find him. He's disappeared. Nobody can track him down. Them arriving at the house. That in itself is fine. Having a look around, they find Frank's bits and pieces.
Yes. I'm assuming that they would know from the photographs rather than the figurine that it was Frank.
Yeah.
Because even though they've probably never met Frank, they've probably seen family photos.
Yes. I know I'm kind of leaping ahead a little bit down into the act. Mm-hmm. But again, it was the other thing that I was suddenly thinking about. And again, this is possibly just in my head. The actual moment with the accident with the nail and everything. There's a number of things that are going on in that scene that are not, I mean, they may be more in the book, but visually in the film, that seem, there's like an undertone going on. Is the reason that Frank can get back at all, because A, the blood that is spilled is his brother's.
It's familial blood.
Yeah, and also B, because at that moment in time, there's kind of a psychic resonance because Julia is reliving their affair in the room.
Well, the psychic resonance is more strongly suggested in the film than it is in the book.
Oh, is it? Okay. So
I think it works excellently for the film.
Oh, yeah, it does.
It's familial blood.
Yes.
In the story, that's what the key that unlocks him. And that's why he gets back so much of himself from those few drops on the floor.
Right.
And then it takes 3 entire men to do just his muscle structure.
Yes. Okay. So that still works then, as you say, keeping him as maybe not as direct a blood relative, but he is still a blood relative.
Exactly, so it would be familial blood, yeah.
Just for convenience sake, that we move, like, Frank's cot and all of that kind of stuff up into that room in the attic. So when that happens, Lynn is up there, she's maybe had a diary or something, and she's reading his diary.
Okay. All right,
so
I see, to create a similar sort of resonance.
Yes. I mean, I know we're not there yet, we've got a few things to look at before that, just that was one of the main points that I thought, well, actually, we need to kind of have a look at that.
Yes, yeah, that works, and it allows us to bring that moment into this version of the movie.
Fantastic. So we've got Billy arriving with them at the start, looking around the house, all of that kind of thing is fine.
Yes, so I was thinking that we would just reverse this situation, that the house isn't unfurnished when they come.
Okay.
So it's them moving out furniture.
Yes.
For the estate.
Of course it is. Of course.
That causes the accident.
So we will lose... Obviously, Kirsty looking for a job. Billy won't need to go and find a job unless he wants to go and find a job to give him something to do.
I kind of think that we need to get him out of the house for things to happen. So I think he maybe should look for a job. Maybe his dad thinks it's healthy for him.
It's character building. He gets to work in another country and another culture.
Yeah, exactly.
Do we want to stick him in a bank again?
We can stick him anywhere we like.
Because I was thinking about that. I know it's in the next act, but I just had this idea of when the homeless guy turns up, he turns up in the bank and he's kind of like walking up towards him and kind of just staring at him with his hand in his pocket. And he's like, oh my God. So like Billy's reaching for the silent alarm.
Oh.
And then he pulls out his hand and it's just covered in locusts. He starts eating them.
Okay.
I know that's the next act, but it's just like...
Okay, yeah, no, I'll go with that. I like that image.
Fantastic.
I'll go with that.
What I thought we could use, because again, the other thing that we need to address with this is the power that Frank exerts, or a parallel to the power that Frank exerts over Julia. Because how are we doing this? Is he going to be able to rope Lynn into this?
Well, this is where, I mean, like, right away, we've got a fundamental moving part problem here. Because Lynn does not have that connection to Frank. Even by reading the diary, she's only vicariously learning about him. She still doesn't have that personal connection to him.
No, absolutely not.
See, I thought this would be fun. I thought this would be so easy.
Well, a possible idea. No doubt they've come here, they're obviously going to sort all of this out, sell everything off. From the get-go, I can imagine Rand is going to be there going, fantastic, I can do X, Y, and Z for his business as an inventor with the proceeds from selling the house and all the furniture. Now, you know, in Gremlins, there's a very tight... It's quite subtly done, and it's only like once. I think it's when Rand first comes back with Gizmo, and he's talking about, oh yeah, I've got this company that's interested in possibly buying the bathroom buddy.
Yeah.
and there's almost just like a half look between Lynn and Billy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we've heard this before.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the power angle here. She's worried that he's going to use all of this money that could set them up for quite some time and flush it down the can on inventions that aren't going to work.
Okay.
So Frank would offer him the ultimate invention. Complete lie. A box.
Oh, no, there's starts to become problems with that. Why would Frank give up the box?
He's not going to give up the box. He's just saying that to get her on side. Right, the ultimate invention. The secret of life and death. Then she gets to live in peace. It's a stretch. I know it's a stretch, but I don't really see what else. Off the top of my head, I've yet to find anything.
I know. I'm genuinely sitting here trying to think. There must be something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, please. Yes. I need some thinking juice. Oh, bloody hell. Oh, familial blood. It's your husband's blood that's brought me back. It's his blood I need to complete the process. Unless you bring me somebody else. Okay. A threat, not a promise.
Yeah. And then it's just a question of how do we think Lynn's going to react to that? Because she's quite feisty. You know, she's... I mean, was it 3 gremlins that she took out in the kitchen?
Oh, yeah. When she wants to, she'll defend her family.
Yeah.
Could work.
Maybe I'll start with your son.
Who's she going to go to? They're going to think she's insane. There's a skeleton man in the attic threatening my family.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could work.
I
think we could because Hollywood this.
Yeah, because I was thinking her discovering him, and he might need to just insert a scene. They've come back from the hospital getting his hand stitched up. Being a bit house proud, there's blood all over the floor, let me go and clear it up. And that's when she discovers Frank. So she's the first one to go up there before anybody else. We can throw in whatever we need to in the conversation when they get back to the house, which Frank has heard from upstairs, so he's had a chance to find out a bit about who these people are.
Alright, yep.
Which kind of brings us to the end, because then it's the party. The dinner party is the same night. Is there as well?
We're going to probably lose. I mean, the interact because obviously Billy and Steve aren't going to have the same interactions that Kirsty and Steve are going to.
I don't know if we need to go same-sex relationships with both of these films. I think the other one works better.
No. Wait. So Billy's looking for a job, and Steve is local.
Yeah, that works. If you wanted to, Steve is interested in Billy, but Billy's like, yeah, I'm interested in being a mate.
Oh yeah, we could put that layer in there, definitely.
Yeah, we can throw that in. What about then Kirsty's dream? That's kind of like the last thing in the act, almost. I suppose
we'd have the dream, we just wouldn't have the phone call.
Maybe just look in on them to see that they're okay.
Yeah, go and check or something like that.
That's the thing. He goes in to look in on them. His mum's awake, or pretends to be asleep.
Yeah.
And then kind of like, sort of wakes up. I had a bad dream. I wanted to check on you and Dad. No, we're fine. That could be the turning point for her. That there's something weird going on. It's already affecting Billy or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's what makes her go upstairs and go, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, agreed.
Fantastic.
Well, made it through the first act.
Phew. I think we both deserve a star for that. I think we both came up with some interesting...
That nearly broke straight out of the gate. I honestly thought this would be so simple and fun.
Yeah.
You know? No. Then I sat down and thought about it.
The other one, possibly. Although, again, with the other one, and it's the same with this film, with Hellraiser in itself, I can't get used to Andrew Robinson being a good guy.
I know.
It's just not right.
It's not right.
It's Scorpio, for God's sake.
Even in the movie, he's more present as Frank than he is as Larry.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just like, no, that's wrong.
As Sam quite rightly said, somehow we've managed to get through Act 1.
Just barely.
God knows if we're going to get any further. But then again, at the same time, it's been a while since we've had a break. So
It has been a while. It's been a good long while.
Yes, so we're going to try and figure out how the hell we're going to deal with Act 2. And so please do come back on Friday to see how that works out. Until then, take care.
As always, guys, TTFN.
Ba 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 ba.